Admiral Kethvar of the Zephyrian hegemony studied the tactical display with growing unease. The human fleet hung motionless in the void, their ships looking like primitive metal coffins compared to the sleek energy-shielded vessels of the Galactic Coalition. The humans had been spacefaring for barely 2 centuries, children playing with fire among civilizations that had conquered the stars for millennia. "Their technology is laughable," sneered Commander Velthos, his chitinous mandibles clicking with amusement. "Kinetic weapons? Chemical propulsion? They haven't even mastered plasma shielding." Kethvar nodded, though something nagged at him. The humans had requested this demonstration after the Coalition had rejected their application for membership. Earth's representatives claimed their species deserved a chance to prove their worth in combat. The Council had agreed, seeing it as an opportunity to humble these upstart primates once and for all. "Begin the engagement," Kethvar commanded. The Coalition fleet moved with practiced precision, 50 vessels forming a perfect sphere around the human formation. Energy weapons charged, plasma shields shimmered to life, and gravity manipulation. Drives hummed with power. It would be over in minutes. Captain Sarah Chen watched the alien ships close in from the bridge of the UES Defiance. Around her, the crew worked with quiet efficiency, their faces betraying none of the tension she felt. They were outnumbered 5-1 by ships that, on paper, outclassed them in every conceivable way. "All ships report ready, Captain," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced. "Very good. Signal the fleet. Engagement pattern Omega. Let's show them what humans do best." The alien commander expected the humans to charge forward or attempt some desperate flanking maneuver. Instead, the human ships simply scattered. Not in panic, but in a pattern so chaotic it seemed random. Some ships dove below the engagement, plane. Others spiraled in impossible trajectories, and a few even appeared to retreat entirely. "What are they doing?" Velthos demanded. "They're breaking formation." Kethvar frowned. In 3,000 years of space combat, fleet engagements followed established patterns. Ships maintained formation, shields protected against energy weapons, and superior technology determined victory. This was madness. The first human ship to die was the destroyer Yorktown. Plasma beams converged on its position, overwhelming its primitive armor plating. The ship broke apart in a silent fireball, debris scattering across space. But even as it died, the Yorktown had been moving, not away from the enemy, but toward them at maximum burn. Its wreckage, traveling at tremendous velocity, slammed into the shields of 3 Coalition vessels. The energy barriers, designed to deflect directed energy weapons, rippled and fluctuated under the kinetic impact. "Impossible," Velthos breathed. "They're using their own ships as weapons?" That was when the real chaos began. The scattered human ships weren't retreating or breaking formation. They were positioning themselves. Their primitive chemical rockets suddenly blazed to life, sending them hurtling through space at accelerations that should have killed their crews. Ships that had appeared to be fleeing reversed course, using the gravity wells of nearby asteroids to slingshot themselves into unexpected vectors. The UES constellation came screaming out of the debris field of its own destroyed escort, magnetic, railguns spitting tungsten projectiles at relativistic speeds. The Coalition ship it targeted raised its shields, but the metal slugs punched through the energy barrier like it wasn't there. Kinetic energy, the aliens realized too late, didn't care about plasma fields. Captain Chen's ship dove beneath the Coalition formation, its hull scraping against an alien vessel's shields. At point-blank range, the Defiance fired everything it had, not at the ship's heavily armored hull, but at the delicate shield generators protruding from its surface. The alien vessel, suddenly naked without its defenses, became easy prey for the human ships converging from above. They're not fighting like a fleet, Kethvar realized with growing horror. They're fighting like pack hunters. He was right. Where alien tactics emphasized formation integrity and overwhelming firepower, the humans fought like wolves. They struck from unexpected angles, used their environment as a weapon, and showed a terrifying willingness to sacrifice individual ships for tactical advantage. Their primitive technology suddenly seemed irrelevant when deployed with such brutal creativity. The human ship Gettysburg rammed itself into a coalition cruiser's engines, its nuclear reactor detonating in a carefully timed explosion that crippled 3 nearby vessels. The destroyer Midway used its own gravity drives to throw asteroids like massive slings, turning space debris into projectile weapons. And through it all, human ships moved with an agility that defied their bulky appearance, their crews enduring G-forces that would have liquefied most alien species. "Sir," Velthos's voice cracked with panic. "We've lost 18 ships. How is this possible?" Kethvar stared at the tactical display, watching his superior fleet being systematically dismantled by creatures who thought throwing rocks was a valid military strategy. The humans weren't just winning, they were rewriting the fundamental assumptions of space combat. As the last coalition ships limped away from the engagement zone, Admiral Kethvar found himself staring at a communication from the human fleet commander. Captain Chen appeared on his screen, her uniform singed and her face streaked with soot, but her eyes burning with fierce determination. "Admiral," she said simply, "we'd like to discuss our membership application again." 3 days later, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. The report from the engagement zone had sent shockwaves through every major civilization. The humans, those primitive newcomers, had defeated a coalition fleet using nothing but creativity, determination, and a complete disregard for conventional wisdom. "They've changed everything," Council Chairman Mordek announced to the assembled delegates. "We've spent millennia perfecting our weapons and shields, optimizing our formations and strategies. The humans took one look at our rules and decided to ignore them entirely." The human delegation sat quietly in the observer section, waiting for the verdict on their membership application. They had proven their point in the most dramatic way possible. Sometimes the most advanced solution was also the most wrong one. "The motion to grant immediate full membership to the human species," Mordek continued, "passes unanimously." As the chamber erupted in discussion, Captain Chen allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had always been good at one thing above all: others making it up as they went along. Now the galaxy would learn what that really meant. The rules of space combat had indeed been rewritten, and the authors of the new doctrine were a species that still thought hitting things with rocks was a perfectly reasonable strategy.